So, hello, good evening, everyone. Thank you all for joining us for this session today with Sewanee, the University of South. We have Mr. Tim Neal joining us from the college. And along with Tim, we have two of our next senior scholars. We have Ashmin Seth, who is the last year's scholar, and she was the only scholar who could make it to the campus this year. And we also have Sambhav Bansal, who was the next senior scholar the year before. So we have two next senior scholars on this call. Welcome, Tim, Sambhav, and um, sorry, Ashmin. Yes, welcome to all three of you. And before we get going with this call, I have a couple of very quick announcements to make. So the first one is actually, even before I make the announcements, first of all, congratulations to all the students to make it to this level. Congratulations for being shortlisted for the scholarship interview with Sewanee. It's a great chance. It's a wonderful opportunity. I am myself a fan of Sewanee campus, and I hope one day I would make it there sometime soon, hopefully. So congratulations to all of you. And the one very important thing that all of you need to ensure is that you need to submit all pieces of your college application before December 14th. And when I say all pieces of your application, it includes your Common App, your transcripts, your recommendation letters that your counselors will submit, your test scores if you have taken SAT and ACT, and if you wish to report them, you need to submit that. You need to submit your English proficiency scores if you have taken your TOEFL or IELTS or Duolingo. You need to submit that as well. You need to submit any financial paperwork, your certification of finance or the ISFAA form before the deadline. So make sure you submit this before December 14. Of course, we are here to guide you, provide you any support, any help that you need while submitting these forms. This session is being recorded, so we'll share the recording with you after the webinar is over. And of course, if you have any questions, there is a chat box provided, so feel free to post your questions in the chat box. And with that, I'll just pass it over to Tim without any further ado. Welcome, Tim.
Thank you, Devesh. Hi, everyone. My name is Tim Neal, and I have the great pleasure of working with all of our international students at Sewanee. I'm the International Enrollment Coordinator and Associate Director of Admission at the university. I graduated from Sewanee in 2013, so long ago. That's why I asked our two scholars to be here, because my experience is no longer relevant. They're living the Sewanee experience currently. I know Ashmin is in Atlanta, and Sambhav, I'll let he can, when he introduces himself, say where he is currently. And with that, Sambhav, why don't you go ahead and offer a brief introduction so everyone can see who you are.
Sure. So I'm Sambhav Bansal. I am class of 23. So I joined Sewanee last year in August. I just came back to India during the pandemic after being at Sewanee continuously for about 3 semesters, including the summer break and the winter breaks in between. And it was great. It was a really good experience to just be there. I actually miss it so much. I've been constantly texting my friends back at Sewanee, or like now everybody's back home because the semester ended. But I've just been like in constant touch with them about how much I miss them and how much I want to be back. I am a finance major. I think that's relevant, and a psychology double major with a business minor.
Great. And Sambhav, where are you from in India?
I'm from Chandigarh. That's where I am right now.
Awesome. I'm glad that you made it home safely. Ashmin?
Hi everyone, I'm Ashmin. I'm from Shimla, India, and I'm currently now in Georgia, Atlanta, after the semester has been over, and I'm thinking of pursuing a major in neuroscience.
Awesome. So I'm going to be calling on the two of them to chime in on different parts. We're going to do a brief overview of Sewanee. So first, I think it's important to know where in the world is the University of the South. Where is Sewanee? I will say the formal name of the university is the University of the South, never Sewanee University. never Sewanee College. It is the University of the South, familiarly known as Sewanee. That is the town that's named after a Native American tribe of the town of Sewanee. And in the early 2000s, we merged the names together. We're 45 minutes or so from Chattanooga. I used to live in Chattanooga, so I made that commute to work every day. And 90 minutes or an hour and a half roughly to Nashville, Tennessee, and 2.5 hours from Atlanta, Georgia. So a lot of easy flights from, I've taken the flight from Mumbai to JFK, JFK to Atlanta. And so pretty easy flight to, and international flights. You can fly through Detroit, you could fly through Seattle. There are a lot of different flights that you can get into Nashville or into Atlanta. And then there's Groom Transportation, which runs from Nashville Airport, Chattanooga, and also Atlanta to Monteagle, which is about a 5 to 10 minute drive from campus. We're an intentionally small student body of 1,700 students coming from 30 different countries and 44 US states in the District of Columbia. By being an intentionally small campus, you're going to have really close access to your faculty, to the professors teaching the classes, but also to your peers. Sewanee is on a huge campus, actually the second largest campus in the United States of 13,000 acres. So if you're looking to study any of the environmental sciences, forestry, geology, ecology, this is a really good campus to do it at because you can quite literally walk outside and be in a cave or on a hiking trail, climbing, canoeing. There are a lot of outdoor activities. When I went to Sewanee, I was not an outdoor enthusiast, but when I went to Sewanee, I became appreciative of what it means to be a part of the outdoors, especially right now during COVID. We had tested our students 17,000 times this semester, once a week. Sampav can probably point you towards his day on campus every week where he went to the testing site. And we had a total of 15 positive cases, 1-5, the entire semester from all students out of 17,000 tests. This campus really does lend itself to being a place where students can have fun, enjoy themselves, but do so in a safe environment. We have 60 miles of hiking trail. This is a self-sustained campus. You know, we have our own coffee shop on campus, our own movie theater, a couple restaurants in the village. We have zip cars on campus. So if you want to drive to Atlanta, Nashville, Chattanooga, Huntsville, Birmingham, Louisville, Kentucky, Lexington, Knoxville, you have a lot of different places that you could drive to in those zip cars. But this is Central Campus. You'll see our chapel right there and the dining hall, and then some of our academic buildings as well. So we have 13,000 acres, 1,700 students. I really just went through a lot of this. And we enrolled our largest class this year of 530 new students. We only had 12 students defer. So if you ask the question, will deferring my enrollment, or will those who deferred their enrollment last year impact my admission decision? No, it won't. These are all of the different academic programs that we have. We have 80 different academic programs to choose from, 38 majors and 44 different minors. So Sampav, really quick, how did you land on finance and neuroscience?
So, right, sure. Initially, when I came in for a neuroscience and an economics double major with a business minor. And I was like going through all the courses that I was taking, even my research. So that's the other great thing about Sewanee. You get to do undergraduate research. I had just completed my first year. And the next summer, I was able to pursue a research project with my professor in neuroscience. That was like really cool. And I'm so grateful that I had that experience, because after that, I realized my interests in neuroscience were much more like philosophical and cognitive in nature. And that's why I've switched my major to psychology from neuroscience. And from economics, I found out like I don't really want to deal much with like policy making, which economics deals with, but much more with finances, which the finance major deals with. And so the flexibility that we have at Sewanee to be able to switch those majors and explore them with the professors in an open environment is really good.
Thank you. So when you land at Sewanee, you have a roommate, you have your 4 classes, you have a residence hall, you are ready to go. In November, Ashman just went through the registration process of registering for next semester's classes. Ashman, what classes did you decide to register for? How was the registration process for you?
I've decided, like, we have advisor, so I had a talk with her. I told her what I really want to pursue ahead, so she guided me, and I chose classes for general knowledge like English and that fulfill the requirements. And of course, I chose Neuro 101 this time, and because I've done all the separate classes this semester.
That's great. So you're taking 4 classes each semester, 2 semesters in a year, 8 classes in total. And so by the time that you graduate, you're taking 32 classes at minimum. Sewanee does not charge you if you choose to take a 5th course in its each semester. So if you want to load up and take 5 classes, you can talk to Sampav later about what that feels like. It is overwhelming. There are a lot of reading and writing pieces in all of the classes. Sampav and Ashman, just nod your head. Am I right in saying there's a lot of reading and writing? Great. So everything that you're doing at Sewanee is really preparing you for life after college. We are not preparing you for the first job and you're going to be done. We're preparing you for your 2nd profession, 3rd profession, 10th job, so that you can be most marketable, most versatile, going into graduate programs or into internships, whatever your path might be after you graduate. The point of the matter is, a lot of you are probably looking at this right here, engineering, or a lot of the STEM fields, and that's great. We have students currently enrolled at our partner engineering schools of Columbia University and WashU in St. Louis. You can do engineering and get another degree at Sewanee. But the point of the matter is, you do not have to know right now what you want to study if you choose to come to Sewanee. You'll take 4 classes in your first semester and you'll determine, I hated that class and I love that class. I'm going to take more of that and less of that. And you can start to pick and choose from all of these areas what you want to study. Better yet, you're in a class that averages 17 students. Sure, some classes are going to be in the 20s, but some classes are going to be in the 15s and the 10s. Some of your classes are going to have 5 students. And your student to faculty ratio is 10-1. None of your classes at Sewanee will be taught by a teaching assistant nor a graduate assistant. So the person teaching you general chemistry is the person you're going to walk up to and say, I have no idea what you just said in class today. I need extra help. I need to meet with you. I need to come to your office hours, and you'll be able to do that. Every department has tutors. We also have a writing center and a speaking center on campus so that you can go to them and ask for additional support. Now you have all of that, but we want to enhance what you're doing. You know, everyone wants access to research, as Sampav mentioned. So we're going to, through the Sewanee Pledge, provide at least 1 summer internship or research assistantship that will be funded. At least 1. Doesn't mean it has to only be 1, but at least 1. You can study abroad at no additional tuition cost. So any aid that you get to come to Sewanee is applicable to one of our 200 abroad programs. We represent abroad programs on every continent around the world, and every major can study abroad. And then we also pledge that you'll graduate with at least 1 major in 4 years or less. Fun fact, Sewanee runs graduation technically 3 times a year. The big one is in May, but students can also graduate early in September or in December. So it's leading into a lot of great outcomes. Sewanee is the 3rd largest producing liberal arts college for Rhodes Scholars, and we're really pleased to announce that we have 2 finalists this year, both women, that are up for a Rhodes Scholarship. The past 5 have all been women. So Sampav, you've got your work cut out for you to be a Rhodes Scholar. The top career fields that our alumni are getting involved with: education, law, medicine, and finance. The only major on this list is finance. So if you're thinking, I want to do medicine, I have to major in medicine, you will be sorely mistaken. You can major in biology, you can major in English, and still go to medical school. We have one of our students, Daniel, who graduated last year, not this past May, but the May before, who was accepted on a full ride scholarship to Harvard Medical School after spending a year preparing for the MCAT. So why Sewanee? I'm going to call on Ashman first to answer this question. Why ultimately did you choose Sewanee? What was it about the university that drew you to applying and ultimately choosing this place?
Whenever we look onto colleges, we normally see the academics first, and of course, the campus life. I was actually very much attracted towards the academics because of the highly qualified professors and all of the facilities they provide for us to have a complete experience of our excellent academics. And of course, the residence halls, the campus life, the campus activities, you have a full lot of life experience on campus, so you don't have to worry about going out to experience whole new things. You have all of them on campus. Even during these pandemic, I thought it will be a totally different thing for me, and I was really upset before coming. But when I came here, everything I have experienced a lot, even in these times of pandemic. It was all socially distanced, and we were following all the norms of protection, wearing all the masks, and we were getting tested every week. And so it was just perfect for me, even in these tragic times.
That's great. And you've just done 1 semester, so you've got a
Yes.
lot more time under your belt. Sampav, why?
Right.
I'm going to ask you a slightly different question. What is it about Sewanee that has made you want to stay, and not go to another university? I think it's very obvious that international students choose their university and then say, you know what, I'm going to level up and I'm going to go to this top ranked school instead. What has made you want to stay at Sewanee?
I think the research opportunities and the fact that the career center is so helpful. Like I don't think if I went to a bigger school, I would be able to get that personal attention and connection through the career center. Like they've helped me so much design my resume, apply to jobs, to cover letters, shortlist them, set up events with alumni. So like recently, we had to cancel the event because of things happening on campus right now. But we set up an alumni event with the career center just for international students in different fields. So we had STEM there, so we had law school, we had medical school, we had computer science, we had finance. And so just the fact that there's basically the community aspect. The community aspect is so important at Sewanee. Everybody wants you to succeed and everybody works for you to succeed.
What's Ashman or Sampav, what's something outside of the academics that you think is really important to share with these prospective students about your own experience, clubs, involvement, things that you've done? Ashman, I saw you on Instagram a couple weeks ago giving out candy through the Global Home. Some things that you can talk about are that have been fun since you've arrived.
When I arrived, like, you learn a lot from others. This is the very important thing when you go out of your country or out of your town. And I have experienced and learned a lot from others. And there are such activities, there's such clubs there which you enjoy as well as learn, like the Global Home and the writing clubs, the Sewanee Purple. So you get to know a lot from them. So this is something I've always been attracted to.
Great. Sampav, what have you done on campus?
So Sewanee has like over 200 clubs for you to join. I've been involved with the Organization for Cross-Cultural Understanding. We are mostly international students, but our aim is not to just be here for international students, but for raising cross-cultural awareness, which also comes from paths other than just being an international student. And so that's our goal, that's our motive. And so we have like different events for that. We have like potlucks, we recently had a folktale night on Halloween. So people brought like scary folktales from their backgrounds and stuff. So that was really fun. And we had soup made from like, we had an Egyptian soup and an Hungarian soup. So that was amazing. We also, I'm also associated with the Sewanee Asian organization, which also has a house on campus, the Asian Language and Culture House. The OCCU also has the house that's called the Global Home. And so that's really nice to have those theme houses on campus because they provide a safe environment for students to visit and have community. They can like these houses are always open to anybody who wants to go learn about different things, wants to learn about global affairs, wants to learn about Asian language and cuisines, or just Asians themselves, or just international students who just want to be there and hang out with people who understand where they're from and who they are. I'm also associated with the Interfaith Advisory Council on campus, where we really make sure that everybody coming from different faith backgrounds has access to everything that they might need and provide a sense of community for them. For that, we are also like constantly in touch with Sewanee Dining, which helps us provide food that's like with dietary restrictions and everything that students might have, to provide them good food and food that's fine for them to eat.
Speaking of food, that's probably a really important piece. Ashman, you are, as part of your work study, working in with Sewanee Dining. One, international students can definitely have a work study job on campus, and something you can apply for. What's been your experience working with Sewanee Dining? And obviously there is an adjustment to food in India versus food in America. So can you talk about that a little bit?
Yes, I have been working with Sewanee Dining since past like 2 months, and I really love my job. So Sewanee provides you varieties of food. Like if you're a vegetarian, that's not a problem. If you're non-vegetarian, that's not a problem. Of course, there is a difference between Indian food and American food, but still, you won't go to bed empty stomach. That's the main thing. And you are provided with like different varieties. You have cafes on campus, Sterling's, the Cup and Gown Cafe, you have a pub. And the most important thing, that we have certain like food stuff on your meal plan, so you don't have to worry about paying each time. You have your domain dollars also, that you get 150 domain dollars per semester, so you can use them for your cafe things and have a good amount of fun there. So that's actually not a problem. When you come here initially, you think it's weird, but after that, you know where to go.
Right. So every student is equipped with an unlimited meal plan when you come to Sewanee. So you don't even need to think about how am I going to eat. It's really, bring certainly, I would say spices and stuff that you can add in to some of your meals. When you're cooking for 1,700 students, the food can sometimes be a little bland. And so you want to add some spice to your life. Every time, that's usually the main difference that I experience in going from India to Sewanee food. But it's really nice being able to walk in, scan your key card when you walk into the dining hall, and just find what you want for that day. There is a farm on campus that students can work at. There is an herb garden right in front of the dining hall, and we locally source from 40 farmers in the surrounding area, which is really neat. I have this photo up. I wanted to talk, Sampav, if you could mention a little bit about your research and how you went about seeking out that opportunity.
Sure. I can't disclose much details about the research itself because that's not something that I'm supposed to do. But of course, I can share how I landed that opportunity. So the research that I did was with my academic advisor, who had also been my intro neuro and then behavioral and neuroscience professor. And so I had already been in contact with her like since the first semester that I'm like really interested in doing research, and I would really love to like help her out on her research project, which she's pursuing right now. That's how usually undergraduate research works. There's a project that your professor is working on, and then you help them out with that research. So basically, they like assign you parts of the research that you complete and then you provide to them, so you get the whole research experience while you help them out. And you can use that research to publish in the Journal of Sewanee Science or even publications outside of Sewanee. So it's like a completely legitimate, like complete whole experience of research. You're not just helping out your professor do stuff. You actually get all the credit for it as well, and then you can write a paper about it. I was given the opportunity to write an article about it in the Sewanee Purple. I couldn't end up doing that because there was so much information that we couldn't disclose. I felt like that would just be counterproductive. But so like there's a lot of stuff that you can do. And the fact of the matter is you just ask your professor. You tell them that you're really interested in research, and then they'll be like, "Yeah, I have this research project going. Are you interested?" Like for next semester, I am already in like conversation with another professor, Dr. Reppert, who's a cognitive neuroscientist. And he told me all about his research project where he's like tracking eye motion movements to determine how people think and how fast they move, how fast the eyes move, and how fast all those things are linked. And so I'm really interested in that now. And so maybe next summer I'll be doing that research with him. So it's just great. Just talk with your professors. That's the best thing.
Well, it's interesting, right? Because everyone, when they think research, they think of this photo, right? They think this is the only type of research that's happening in the world. And at Sewanee, we have roughly a third STEM majors graduating and a third humanities majors graduating. And the humanities majors, it looks completely different. You know, you have stacks of books from DuPont Library, which is the library on campus, that you might be researching gender, identity, you might be researching economics, you might be going back and looking at the history of Sewanee through the Roberson project that's happening on campus. There are a lot of different ways that research looks. Sure, if you walk through our science buildings on campus, you're going to see large research posters, you're going to see the abstract, you're going to be able to read the whole publication if the students were published. The fact of the matter is you're not competing with PhD candidates and master level students for research. You're competing against other undergraduate students for research opportunities. And our faculty are held to the standard that if they want tenure or they want to maintain tenure, they need to be able to publish and produce research on campus. Lastly, I just want to mention living on campus. Ashman mentioned the global home, and we have 19 residence halls and a dozen themed houses. So your first year, you're going to live in a residence hall. After that, you can apply to live in a themed house. The global house is a new house that a group of international students got together and said, hey, we would really like to, you know, have a house that represents global Sewanee and bringing our cultures to the rest of campus. And so they put a proposal together, and lo and behold, it was approved, and they have the global home. But we also have the French house, the Russian house, the German house, the Spanish house. We have the Women's Center. We have the Writing House. There are a lot of different themed houses that we have for students that operate like clubs and organizations, but they have a place where they can live together, dine together, where they can hang out and really talk at great lengths about their common theme, common interest. If you're living in a residence hall, know that we have 19 residence halls, and hopefully you've been to virtual.sewanee.edu to see our campus tour. and seeing what our residence halls look like. I equate them to like small ski lodges where in the living room or the main space there's usually a fireplace. And so right around this time, normally students would still be on campus and they would be able to experience studying by, a warm fire. Sewanee does have 4 distinct seasons, a beautiful fall with the leaves changing, and then winter, it might snow once, twice a year. It does not snow for weeks on end or anything like that. But you really do, you'll have a roommate and you could be sharing a bathroom with 2 others, or you could be in a hall style situation where you and your roommate would share the bathroom with the whole hall of people. If it's a hall style bathroom, those are cleaned every day, and suite styles are cleaned once a week. We have recycling and trash receptacles in all of them. And then laundry is also included in the cost. When I heard that as a prospective student, I thought that meant they did my laundry. You didn't have to do your own laundry, but you go down to usually the basement or the first floor, and there's washers and dryers, and you would do your own laundry down there. So just briefly, I want to cover the admission requirements. I have sent out 2 reminders now, one last week and the one week before, that walk you through 3 simple steps of applying. First, you need to submit your common application to the university. So I am going to stop sharing my screen for a second and pull up this website. Might as well show you, but I'm going to trust that this website is familiar to all of you at this point. And the simple URL is just international.sewanee.edu. It takes you to this landing page, and these are the steps. Think of them as being in order. So submit your free common application. On the common application, when you add Sewanee to your My Colleges list, make sure you're applying early action. The deadline on our website says December 1st. As a Next Genius Scholar, you can ignore that. You have until December 14th. My recommendation is that you submit everything by December 1st so that you have time for things to process. You'll indicate on your, once you've chosen that you're applying early action, you'll also say yes or no to submitting test scores. If you choose to submit test scores, great, we will consider them. If you choose not to submit test scores, great, we will not consider them. That is okay, okay? I know I get this question a lot. What does test optional mean? It means you're applying test optional. It means we won't consider testing as part of the equation. What does it mean then? We really rely on your academic transcript. So if your academic transcript might not be the strongest, but you have stronger test scores, then you can choose to submit them. English proficiency exam. Do not email me to ask for a waiver. Go here on our website, and there is a form that you can complete. These are the English proficiency exams we accept. I highly recommend submitting Duolingo if you can. It's $49. It can be done on your lovely device that you're on right now for 45 minutes. It's much cheaper than TOEFL or PT and IELTS. But if you want to request a waiver, you can. They are not automatically guaranteed. I like to see a transcript before I grant a waiver. So make sure your high school transcript is in. Financial docs, I'll come back to that. Official high school transcript, this is what your school needs to send to us. So your high school transcript and 2 letters of recommendation. One from your college counselor. If you don't have a college counselor, that's fine. It can be a principal, it could be head of school, that's fine. And one from a core teacher. We prefer that they be in the last 2 years of your high school experience. So make sure that they submit their recommendations to us. If you add them on Common App, when you add Sewanee to your My Colleges list, there's a FERPA and recommendations section. You can add your recommenders and your counselor there. If you don't have a college counselor, add your principal or someone like that so that they can submit your official high school transcript and your school profile and all of that information. If that is too confusing, at the end of the day, they can email it to me. But the most important part is that they have to send those documents. No one should be applying early decisions, so you just ignore that. Financial documents. Okay, this is where it gets really important that you review this. The two things we require for financial aid this year is the CSS Profile and Sewanee's own proof of finances form. So when is that due? Early action is December 1st. That's when it would be due. For you all, that needs to be in by December 14th. The CSS Profile can be submitted electronically through the College Board website directly to us. I only accept it that way. Don't email it to me. But the proof of finances form can be completed after you've applied. We'll send you your login credentials for your portal, your applicant status page, and that's where you can submit that portal or submit that document. I will say that the proof of finances form is like a bank statement, an income statement, anything that you're proving you've reported on your profile as what your family can afford. So if you need to request a bank statement now, I know that with the pandemic going on, there's a lot, things take time. Make sure you start working on this now. So the sooner you submit your Common App to Sewanee, the sooner you get your portal information, the sooner you can start working on this other stuff. So it's really important that you do that. Now, if you're admitted to Sewanee, we will meet your full demonstrated need. Not a lot of small liberal art colleges meet the full demonstrated need of all students, let alone international students. We will do that. How do we do that? Academic scholarships, grants, and a work-study stipend. Notice I did not say loans. We do not provide loans to international students. So any aid that we provide you is grant money or scholarship money that you don't have to pay back. If you do not apply for financial aid before your admission offer, you will no longer be considered for financial aid, let alone in the future or after that decision. So really important. You can start working on your CSS profile now. You can just click this link and it will take you to their website. And then when you click completing the CSS profile, there's a lovely video that you can watch on how to submit that. So you can start working on your profile even before you finish your common application. So this is all of the information. And here is what I talked about for the proof of finances form, what we accept. We do tell students you need to budget around $5,000. That's for personal expenses. So your flight, all of that stuff, your books, health insurance, and so forth. You're automatically considered for scholarships just by applying to the university. And so you don't need to apply for a scholarship at all. So once you submit that common application to Sewanee, that triggers everything else to start running. But please be patient. I use this analogy a lot. If you order coffee from Starbucks on the mobile app, do not expect your coffee to be in your hand within 30 seconds. It will take time for the coffee to be made, for the coffee to be put out, and to be prepared. So roughly 7 business days. We've surpassed 3,000 applications this year already. We are up significantly in applications. So bank closer to 10 business days. So the sooner you get this in, the better. Okay. And now I just want to answer some questions. So feel free to chat questions in if you have them. That way we can keep track of the questions and I'll respond to them as you come out. But Sampav and Ashman can attest to the fact that the #1 thing that will prevent you from moving forward in this process is not having your documents in on time. And so if you wait until December 13th at midnight to submit your Common App. All of this other stuff needs to be in by December 14th.
Super, wonderful. Thank you so much, Tim, for
Yeah.
the great presentation and for making it very clear that the application needs to reach there on time, and for very carefully and precisely sharing what exactly needs to be done. So that's wonderful. And thank you, Sambhav and Ashwin, as well, for sharing about your experience. We are really happy that both of you are having a great time and learning a lot at Sewanee. It's wonderful. So we do have questions coming in, and I'll just start uh, reading it out for you. The very first one is a student wants to know that he is an American citizen, a US citizen, and how is the application process going to be different for him?
Yeah, that's a great question. The only difference is that if you are a US citizen, you're eligible for US federal aid. So we require, in addition to the profile, we'll require the FAFSA, which you can go to fafsa.org to complete that and submit it electronically. But we still meet 100% of demonstrated need for US citizens. We will offer a federal loan, but you don't have to accept the loan if you don't want it. That's the only difference, is the FAFSA.
Okay. Can you elaborate a little bit more on the computer science program at Sewanee?
Yeah, Sampav or Ashwin, do you want to jump in on that question or talk a little bit about computer science or anything like that while I pull this up?
I could. I haven't taken a computer science course yet, but it's on my agenda to do because I wanted to take my neuroscience major towards like a more AI based application, and that's why I wanted to take computer science courses. I haven't been able to because I actually feel really limited by the 4 courses because of just so much that I want to do. But don't take 5. I mean, you can take 5 courses, but it's really hard. So for the computer science major, what's really good is that we again have a lot of professors, and there's not a lot of computer science students currently, which enables the professors to really give time to the students that are pursuing computer science majors right now, and that gives them a lot of to be really just casual with the professor and just ask whatever they want to, hang out with them, and work on their thesis or projects that they're doing. I have a friend who is a computer science major, and he's like always working on developing some kind of app or a web page for his professor, or just like for his own. Like he's a computer science and finance double major, and so he's like developing an app for his finance major through the computer science major that he has. So that's really great.
Yeah,
But that's
and I
also
think
all I
that,
can say about it.
well, I think what you just said there is the most important piece. Computer science majors at Sewanee tend to overlap with something else. They tend to be doing something like another language or economics or finance or math. And so these are all of the different requirements for a computer science major. And you'll notice they overlap in different departments: art, economics, English, math, neuroscience, psychology, statistics. Those are just a sampling of some of the courses that you can take: game theory and economics. And so we want our computer science majors to be well prepared to be able to articulate whether it be graphics, robotics, artificial intelligence, programming with the lay person. You know, I am not a computer scientist. How do you channel that out into whatever you're doing? This student right here, who's getting his PhD at Clemson University, was a Spanish major at Sewanee, a computer science minor at Sewanee, and is getting his degree in artificial intelligence, a PhD in artificial intelligence.
Wonderful. And a similar question about economics major. What do you see economic majors do upon graduation?
Yeah. It's been one of our larger majors for a while. I pulled up here some of the first destinations of our economics majors. I'm sure Sampav can chime in too on what some of his students are doing. Just recently, our business minor, the honors track within our business minor, the Carey Fellows program just announced all of our Carey Fellows who are graduating this year already have jobs lined up for the upcoming once they graduate. So Sampav, anything else you want to add?
I think that was it, because like this is a really good assortment of jobs that they usually land up after the economics major. And I am a finance major only because Sewanee just introduced the finance major like last year. So up until now, it was just economics, and then you can choose different directions that you can take your economics major in. You can go into corporate finance, you can go into investments, real estate, or any of that. Now you just can choose to major in finance directly and then have that. Almost all of the courses are like overlap between them. There's just some courses that are more policy making, so they deal with politics and global studies and all that stuff in economics. But in finance, it's just more money related stuff. And then the business minor, as Tim mentioned, has an honors program called the Carey Fellows, and almost all of them already have jobs. And if you are a Carey Fellow, you get to pursue a semester-long internship in your junior year.
Yep.
Super, wonderful. Does Sewanee offer credit for IB diploma or AP credits?
That's a great question. And a simple answer is yes, we do. For higher level IB, 5 or higher on the higher level IB. AP, we do a 4 or higher on the AP. Dual enrollment classes are reviewed on a case-by-case basis by the registrar's office. And then finally, A levels, we award credit for a B or higher in the A levels.
Super, wonderful. So we are almost coming towards the end of the call. And I'm sorry that we could not take all the questions, but I would just type out Tim's email ID in the chat box, so you could just reach out to him with additional questions. And of course, I'll also type out Sambhav's email ID in the chat box, Sambhav's and Ashmin's. You can also reach out to them. But before we close the call, I would like to hear from all three of you any word of advice, any final word of advice for all the applicants.
Sampav, go ahead.
Make sure that you submit everything on time for it to get processed. It really is very invaluable to get everything in time, because if you won't, your applications would just get behind, and you don't want to do that, because you want to be out there first on priority and get the decisions as soon as possible.
Super.
Yes, for now, this is really, really very important and in these times of pandemic, things are really taking time. If you haven't started, start right away and just don't wait for anything. The earlier, the merrier, and it will be easy for you only.
Absolutely. And mine is just trust in the fact that you all are great students. You've already made it this far. It's a great success that you have demonstrated to us that you are strong students. Control the parts that you can control, and don't worry about the parts that you can't control. You can't worry about who else applies to the university. You can't worry about, oh, this is what my family can afford, or this test score that I got. Don't worry about those things. Worry about the things that you can control, getting your stuff in on time, writing your essay, making sure it's polished. Every email communication that you send to us, that's part of the process. So making sure that you're, I hate that I have to say this, but responding to emails when they're sent to you and signing your name at the bottom. Those are signals to us as an admission office that, wow, this is the kind of student that's going to be corresponding with our faculty on campus. So just control the things that you can control, and do not stress about the things you can't control.
Wonderful. So first of all, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Tim, Ashmin, Sambhav, for joining us for this call this evening. And thank you to all the students as well for joining us this evening to hear about Sewanee and to learn about the application process. So once again, I've just typed out the email IDs of Sambhav, Tim, and Ashman in the chat box. Feel free to write to them if you need any advice. And of course, Team Next Genius is here to provide any guidance, any support that you need during this process. Yeah, so thank you everyone for joining. Have a great day. Have a great evening.
Bye. Thank you so much, Devesh. Have a good one.